यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Lord Rishabhadeva's teachings, text 25. Mattopi anantat paratah parasmat svarga pavargadhipatirna kinchit येषां कि उस्यादितरेण तेषाम् अकिञ्चनानां मयि भक्तिभाजाम् मत्तोऽपि अनन्तात् परतः परस्मात् स्वर्गापवर्गाधिपतेर्न किञ्चित् येषां किम् उस्यादितरेण तेषाम् अकिञ्चनानां मयि भक्तिभाजाम् मतोऽपि अनन्तात् परतः परस्मात् स्वर्गापवर्गाधिपतेर्न किञ्चित् येषां किमुस्यादितरेण तेषाम् अकिञ्चनानां मयि भक्तिभाजाम् मत्तोऽपि अनन्तात् परतः परस्मात् स्वर्गापवर्गाधिपतेर्न किञ्चित् येषां किमुस्यात् इतरेण तेषाम् अकिञ्चनानां मयि भक्तिभाजाम् मत्तोऽपि अनन्तात् परतः परस्मात् स्वर्गापवर्गाधिपतेर्न किञ्चित् yesham kimusyaaditarena tesham jananam bhakti bhajam. Ladies, please. Mattopi-nantat marutas parasmat Svarga pavargadipaterna kinchit Yesham kimumsaaditarena tesham Akinchananam mayi bhakti bhajam. Mattopi-nantat paratah parasmat Svarga pavargadipaterna kinchit Yesham kimumsaaditarena tesham Akinchananam mayi bhakti bhajam. Mattah, from me, api, even, anantat, unlimited in strength and opulence, parataf parasmat, higher than the highest, svarga, apavarga, adhipatehe, able to bestow happiness, obtainable by living in the heavenly kingdom or by liberation or by enjoyment of material comfort and then liberation. Na, not, kinchit, anything, yesham, of whom, kim, what need, u, oh, syat, can there be, itarena, with any other, tesham, of them, akinchananam, without needs or without possessions, mayi, unto me, bhakti bhajam, executing devotional service. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am fully opulent, almighty and superior to Lord Brahma and Indra, the king of the heavenly planets. I am also the bestower of all happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom and by liberation. Nonetheless, the Brahmanas do not seek material comforts from me. They are very pure and do not want to possess anything. They simply engage in my devotional service. What is the need of their asking for material benefits from anyone else? Purport. The perfect Brahmanical qualification is stated herein. Akinchananam mayi bhakti bhajam. The Brahmanas are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Consequently, they have no material wants, nor do they possess material things. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 11, text 8, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the position of pure Vaishnavas who are anxious to return home back to Godhead. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanon mukhasya. Those who actually want to return back to Godhead are nishkinchana. That is, they have no desire for material comfort. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, Sandarshanam vishayinam athayoshitam cha ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanato api asadhu. Material opulence and sense gratification through the association of women are more dangerous than poison. Brahmanas, who are pure Vaishnavas, always engage in the Lord's service and are devoid of any desire for material gain. The Brahmanas do not worship demigods like Lord Brahma, Indra, or Lord Shiva for any material comfort. They do not even ask the Supreme Lord for material profit. Therefore, it is concluded that the Brahmanas are the supreme living entities of this world. Sri Kapila Deva also confirms this in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, Text 33. Tasman mayi arpita shesha kriyarthatma nirantaraha mayi arpitatmana pumso mayi sanyasta karmanaha na pashyami param bhutam akartu samadarshanath. The Brahmanas are always dedicated to the Lord's service with their bodies, words and mind. There is no better person than a Brahmana who thus engages himself and dedicates himself to the Supreme Lord. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj Rishabdev is glorifying the Brahmanas, the devotees of Krishna. And he's asking his 100 sons to always honor, respect, serve, take guidance from, encourage the Brahmanas. Because when the Brahmanas are there, then life has meaning, has purpose, and it can be guided in the right direction. So what is the qualification of the Brahmanas? We've been hearing about this in the past few days. Their sense control, their minds are peaceful, they are simple, they're tolerant, they're merciful. Yesterday's verse was they're very merciful. And the most important is that they are very, very wealthy. The wealth of a Brahmana is not anything material. He does not necessarily possess the greatest material wealth. It may come, it may not come. But for a Brahmana, the greatest wealth is the privilege to serve Krishna. And this privilege, this wealth, far supersedes and surpasses any other wealth or any other opulence that the Lord can gift easily. So he's saying, I am fully opulent, almighty, and superior to Lord Brahma and Lord Indra. And these are very, very great personalities, and they are way up there in the universe. And the Lord is saying that I'm even more opulent than any of these persons. But my devotees, they don't want any of these things from me. They don't want heavenly kingdom. They don't want liberation. They don't want wealth, material wealth. That's not what they aspire for. They aspire for my service. Akinchana means materially impoverished. So they may be materially impoverished, but their greatest wealth is Mai Bhakti Bhajam, that they're always engaged in my devotional service. Sridhar Swami describes or defines karma this way. It is the impetus to do something or acquire something because inherently one feels unfulfilled or incomplete. He uses the word apurna. It is to fulfill this incompleteness. People have the impetus to acquire something or to do something. And the opposite of that is a person called Atmaramaha. The Supreme Personality is like that, and all his devotees, pure devotees, are like that. So whatever activities they do, it is not for fulfilling a void or for acquiring something. And whatever activities the Lord does is also similar. It's not for acquiring something or fulfilling a need. Therefore, their activities are called Leela. And the ordinary living entities' activities are called karma. The greatest possession, again, of a devotee is his or her service. When Lord Chaitanya wanted to visit Vrindavan, and he was leaving Jagannath Puri. As he was leaving Jagannath Puri, all the devotees were feeling very torn. Oh, Lord Chaitanya is leaving. And one of the devotees who felt the greatest pang of suffering to be away from Lord Chaitanya was Gadadhar Pandit. And so he decided to also leave Jagannath Puri and follow Lord Chaitanya. And as Lord Chaitanya was walking, Gadadhar Pandit was walking behind, and Lord Chaitanya said, "Where are you going?" "Oh, I want to go to Vrindavan with you." "Why do you want to go to Vrindavan? You have taken a promise. You've made a vow to not leave Jagannath Puri and serve Tota Gopinath." "Oh, what is the meaning of staying in Jagannath Puri if you're not there? Wherever you are, that is Puri for me. I want to just be with you." So Lord Chaitanya chided Gadadhar Pandit, and he told him that a devotee has two greatest possessions and most valuable possessions. And these two possessions are the vows that a devotee makes and the service of the devotee. Anything else is not more valuable than these. And so he told him, because you've made a vow and you have a service here, you can't go. You have to stay. And he agreed. He accepted that. Similarly, when Lord Chaitanya was with all the devotees in Jagannath Puri again, and they were having wonderful pastimes, he called Lord Nityananda and told him, "Now you should go to Bengal and preach in Bengal." "Oh, how can I leave you and go? How can I say yes and how can I say no?" But Lord Chaitanya said, "You must go to Bengal. You must preach in Bengal." And Lord Nityananda accepted. So they may not have anything. Another example in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes is Kolavecha Sridhar. Kolavecha Sridhar, the way I've heard it most recently, is he used to live in a thatched hut. And that hut had, the roof had so many holes, it's described it had more holes than thatch. And he had only one piece of cloth that he used to wear, and that had more holes than cloth. And his whole profession was to collect banana leaves and make cups from the banana leaves, cups and plates, and sell those bananas and banana flowers. And these are not high-valued goods, especially in the Gauda Desh. Bananas are available in like super abundance. Everywhere, anywhere you see is nothing but banana groves. So it's not so difficult to acquire bananas and banana leaves. So who would come to buy from him? But he would sit at the bank of the Ganges, and the whole day he would be chanting, remembering Lord Chaitanya, remembering Lord Krishna, making these banana cups. and hoping someone would come buy them. If they didn't come, they didn't come. And his most visited customer was Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya would come every day and ask him, what's the price of these cups? And he would quote a price. I would say, very expensive, overpriced. And if you know, in India, you don't buy anything without haggling for it, without bargaining. I mean, the best customer is he or she who never bargains. And if you don't bargain, you never get a good deal. So, and then naturally the prices are already inflated because they're hoping that someone would bargain and they would get the fair price. So if any of you ever visit India and you buy anything, you start at half price. So Lord Chaitanya would also quote some really unreal prices. No, this is too expensive. You're taking away too much. He said, my Lord, I don't make any money. No, I don't want all this. And he would tell him, you're actually hiding your greatest wealth from all of us. Let's not go by the externalities. You're wearing torn dhoti and all of that and looks like you're very poor. But actually you're very, very rich. You're very wealthy. And his greatest wealth was his simplicity and his wonderful mood of devotion to Lord Chaitanya and Mother Ganges. And whatever money he got, half went for the worship of Mother Ganges. And the other half was for his maintenance. So the devotees are very, very special, that they are very wealthy. Ram Navami is coming up, so I'm beginning to hear about Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. And it's full of personalities who have nothing to offer Lord Ramachandra. But they have the greatest wealth. They have a loving relationship, a devotional service to offer. So we may come to Krishna and we may have some material wealth. We may have some educational qualifications. We may have some physical capacities. We may have skills. We may have certain ideas and capacity to envision things. All of that may be there. But there's one thing in all of that is that they will all dwindle. They will all weaken. Because those are all material possessions. And if not today, then tomorrow. Or very soon, they will go away. But what a devotee has to offer is service. And here Prabhupada says, the Brahmanas are always dedicated to the Lord's service with their bodies, words, and mind. And that is something that always grows. It doesn't dwindle. Right? We have that experience. Anyone felt their service is reducing? No. Service is always increasing. And that's the good sign. And that's a very good sign. So Lord Kapila also confirms this nature, this quality of the devotees. And in this verse, from the 3rd canto, chapter 29, Prabhupada in that purport describes the last line thoroughly in the purport. The first is akartu. And Prabhupada describes akartu means without a sense of proprietorship. The devotee gathers things and paraphernalia without a sense of proprietorship. He does it or she does it for the service of Krishna. The sense of proprietorship comes when a person thinks that I am the doer and I am applying what I have, my capacities and skills, and whatever I get from it belongs to me, the fruit of my labor. That is called possessiveness or proprietorship. But a devotee's vision is that everything is provided by Krishna to facilitate one's service. So naturally, the ingredients belong to Krishna, the result belongs to Krishna, and the fruit of all of those activities also belong to Krishna. So in that sense, akartu also means akinchana. The devotee doesn't have anything material that he can or she can say is mine. Although we get caught into those things, and for the sake of everyday, doing things, business as usual, we may say, this is mine. Like if someone were to find this iPad somewhere and say, whose is this? We would say, this is mine. But when we say this is mine, it is only functionally mine. But it belongs to Krishna. So the real definition of proprietorship is how it is engaged. If it is engaged in Krishna's service, then yes, it is Krishna's. If it is not engaged in Krishna's service, then there is this whole sense somewhere that something for me. We are part owners. Some part Krishna owns, some part I own. So akartu means without any sense of proprietorship. And samadarshanat. Samadarsha means seeing with oneness. The oneness, in that purport Prabhupada says, the oneness is oneness of interest. And the oneness of interest actually defines the quality of service. Because if there is no oneness of interest, service cannot be fully pure. Oneness of interest is whatever Krishna wants, that's what I want. If Krishna would like me to do that service, then that's what I do. If Krishna would like me to do something else, that's what I do. And if Krishna does not want me to do something, I don't do that. This is called oneness of interest. And in that purport, Prabhupada cautions that samadarshana, the Mayavadis wrongly interpret as oneness with Krishna. That one should think, I am God. And he says, if one thinks I am God, there is a flaw. There are many flaws. The particular flaw he talks about is when you say service, that automatically includes three components: service, servant, and the served. But if you say samadarshana means oneness, then you're negating all these three. So samadarshana means oneness with Krishna's interest. This is the quality of pure service. Whatever the devotees want, whatever Krishna wants, devotees, whatever the spiritual master says, do, I do. Whatever he says, don't do, I don't do. To come to that platform requires Brahmanical quality, sense control, peacefulness. Otherwise, the lack of these qualities will impel one to have a separate interest. Because separate interest comes from the modes of passion and ignorance, primarily passion. So a devotee, a beginner, if you will, or a practicing devotee, cultivates the quality of goodness so that the spirit of oneness, samadarshana in this case, is properly cultivated. Then Srila Prabhupada quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sandarshanam vishayinam athayoshitam cha ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanato api asadhu. And it describes that the hurdles in being nishkinchana, in being completely dedicated to Krishna, the obstacles are vishayinam, athayoshitanam. And Prabhupada describes material opulence and sense gratification through the association of women are more dangerous than poison. The idea that wanting material possessions or enjoying the senses separate from Krishna's interest are biggest hurdles or pitfalls for a devotee. And that pitfall is more dangerous than drinking poison. Because if one drinks poison, one's life will end. This life might end. But the flourishing of bhakti may not be necessarily curbed. However, with these two, the sense of enjoying material opulence or sense gratification, they curb the flourishing of bhakti. And that's more dangerous. And so we are cautioned that while we are heading on the path of cultivating pure devotional service, be cautious of the pitfalls, the possibility of getting distracted. So the devotees and the brahmanas are glorified that why the devotees, they don't need anything else. They're fully satisfied. If they have service to do for Krishna, they don't want anything else. That is all that they care about. And he's glorifying that this is what is most attractive and most pleasing to Krishna. Because in the previous verse he said, they're very attractive, I'm very pleased by them, I'm very attracted to them. It is actually this quality that Krishna pays most attention to. Immediately, his attention is attracted. A little genuine desire to serve. Now, it's not just genuine desire, but that desire must be followed with appropriate action. Because Prabhupada defined bhakti as devotional service, not just something sentimental. Stand somewhere and imagine something and, I have a desire of great devotion. But devotion followed by or exhibited by the actions to support that desire. So he defined bhakti as devotional service. And this is very, very important. This is the greatest wealth that we are after. We're not after any other wealth. If Krishna gives along with it, then that's his mercy. If Krishna takes it, that is also his mercy. He may give, and when he gives wealth, let's say material wealth, then a devotee doesn't think of it as, this is compensation for my service that I have rendered. It's not a salary. We don't get paid for it. If Krishna gives some wealth, then a devotee immediately thinks of it as, this wealth is given for some service to do. It's a facility. How can I serve Krishna with this facility? He may give us the capacity to speak. He may give us the capacity to sing, to dress the deities nicely, or whatever. Whatever has come about is not a remuneration or reward for something we might have done. It is an encouragement as a facility for more service, to encourage more service from us. And that's how a devotee sees things. And that's their wealth. And when we serve persons like these who have these qualities, then we become inheritors of that wealth. The greatest wealth we can inherit from a Vaishnava is the mood of service. The opportunity to see service or to see service opportunities. This is the real wealth. Persons who are rich They know how to acquire wealth. Money gets more money. So that way, a person who's rich with devotional service gets more service. Okay, those are some thoughts. Any comments, questions? Jitendra Prabhu and then Mother Danakeli. Yeah, Samadarshana and Tattva Darshana are similar. Tattva Darshana is to see the truth, to see things as they are, and that is to see everyone as spiritual being. So, in the next verse, that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne verse is quoted. So, we'll discuss more about Samadarshana Monday, when Prithu Prabhu speaks on. Mother Danakeli. Did Prithu Prabhu also? Prithu Prabhu, you also had your hand up? Okay.
I just had a question about this quality of a kinchana. So like you were mentioning, I might have an iPad and I can call it mine, but it's really just functional proprietorship because I'm using it in Krishna's service. So still I'm a little concerned about how a kinchana we really are, because it seems that most of us are more in the mood of getting what we want and then figuring out how can I use this in Krishna's service.
Correct.
So, like some devotees might have income, some kind of job or some kind of income, and other devotees might choose not to do that, and some devotees might choose to own property, and some might not choose to do that. Some might have a car, some don't have a car. So it's like, sure, we can accumulate a bunch of things around us and use them in Krishna's service, but I'm just wondering, how do we really become a kinchana? It just seems like almost like an impossible. It seems like it's an afterthought. So maybe I'm not super greedy. I'm not buying a 10-bedroom palace or something. I'm trying to be simple and just take my necessities. But then we see devotees approach that differently. So anyway.
Yukta Vairagya is a very complicated subject matter and often misunderstood and misapplied. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks in detail about Yukta Vairagya, how one can get misled and how to also properly apply Yukta Vairagya. Generally, let's broaden the discussion a little bit. People also cannot distinguish so easily the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Most people who go to work, let's say, and give donation from it or something, think that is bhakti. So even nishkama karma yoga is quite different from bhakti yoga. So that distinction is also usually not clear. Another distinction that's not clear is the difference between dovetailing and pure devotional service. I like something, I can use it in Krishna's service. That is bhakti. That is not. That's just dovetailing. It's an entry point. So from the perspective of how Prabhupada engaged everyone, whatever is the entry point, that's good. That's a good start. But the good start shouldn't end there. One should be progressive. One should progressively hear and understand what these things actually mean. What does Yukta Vairagya really mean? What is the distinction between Nishkama Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? What is the difference between dovetailing and actual service? And if one is not progressively learning that, then one will continue thinking that those are actual features of pure bhakti. And so the persons who are guiding or involved as spiritual masters, that's their role, or the other Vaishnavas as well. It's the role to make sure that people are moving forward from that position to the next, or to the purer position. Yeah, otherwise people can buy anything. Like this is such a coveted gadget. And the way this becomes Krishna's is I download Prabhupada's books. Oh, okay. But it's used for all other things. And then once in a while, Prabhupada's books, so it's devotional. That's the risk. Ashray.
Especially in an institutional setting, we may get instructions for things to do, and sometimes that coincides with what we like to do. I'm thinking of a particular example. But sometimes that may coincide. For many people, it may be like torture, but for some person, it may be like that's really what they like to do. So it seems like there has to be a really strong individual component also of knowing or assessing whether I'm doing pure devotional service as opposed to like karma yoga or dovetailing, something like that, because it may be something that's even very intense or whatever, but if our psychophysical thing is like that, then it's just fun for me, So but I'm following nicely, so what's our check that I'm just doing this for the pleasure of Buddha and Krishna, and not just because it's, because I like it.
A devotee's feature is not about liking a service or not liking the service. Yeah, of course, if they like the service, that's better, that's nice. But my understanding of the way things happen or should happen, the principle is about liking the devotee from whom the instruction is coming. If that is the case, then this service or that service is not relevant. And as long as that is not strong and vibrant, then we have to look for, do I like this, do I like that? And that's just an entry point. Nature, you like this, or this is something you have, I guess, skill for, strength for. Those are the beginning of Krishna consciousness, if you will. It's the getting warmed up for service. The real service attitude is vyavasayatmika buddhi. The vyavasayatmika buddhi comes from the relationship with the source of instruction. Then it's not capacity, it's not skill, then it's all that is not relevant anymore. Then it operates on a different platform, it operates as a different energy. Then it's not so much individual this or that. Then is the internal potency empowering and facilitating that service. So the cultivation is that relationship or relationships.
That point's very clear. I'm thinking of a particular example. Maybe you can help me understand in that context. There's a temple of 100 devotees, and 85 of them are sent out on book distribution every day for 8 hours or something like that. Some of those people, that's going to be like really, okay, if you have a Vyavasayatmika buddhi, the person asked me to do it. This is really hard for me, but I'm going to do it every day anyway. And somebody else, I love doing this. I'm not necessarily thinking I'm doing it because I want to do it for that person, but just because it's like I got the instruction and like I'm on a roll, because it just comes out naturally for me. So what you're saying is both of those people have to understand that the principle is to think of that person.
Right.
It's not whether even if they like it, fantastic. If they don't, whatever. But
If they like it, great. But that's not the operating principle. The test of that is one day you say, don't do this and do that, and see how they respond. And if the person, let's say of these two persons, the person who actually likes, you said book distribution, right? Likes to go out for book distribution, and you tell the person, oh, today can you do that service? Oh no, what are you doing? You're killing my bhakti. You're killing my expression. Whoa. And the other person, you say, don't go for book distribution today, right? The second person who's really, it's a drag for them. And they say, finally, someone's listening. Then this is, although that may be the case, and it's not that everyone is expected right day one be like that. That's not the point here. But the genuine aspect of Krishna consciousness is drop this, do that, jai. That's my enthusiasm is now there. You drop this, pick that, jai. My enthusiasm is there. And that takes cultivation of Krishna consciousness. It takes, I guess, time as well. And in between, then there is other things. What do you like to do, Prabhu? Like that. Okay. Nothing else? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We will meet for Ishtagosti. 8:30. 10 minutes, yes.